Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for putting up with the heat. My name is Jaime Barceleau, born and raised here in El Paso. One day I'm going to be buried at Fort Bliss National Cemetery, whether or not it has grass. I've been in El Paso all my life. I grew up in the neighborhood of San Juan, graduated from Burgess High School, Go Mustangs, 1973. Did 4 years in the Army, and after I did 4 years in the Army, I did 27 and a half in the Army Reserve. While I was going to UTEP, I was also employed full-time, and I was also in the ROTC program. When I graduated in 1980, I got my bachelor's degree in social work, and I got my commission in the Army Reserves. I retired as a lieutenant after 31 and a half years. I am the only candidate that can say that across all races.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Thank you. I also got my degree in social work, and I served for 38 years as a social worker, the last 18 years as the CEO, the only candidate, 18 years as CEO of a multi-million-dollar organization. I created jobs and I made policies. Thank you.
You mentioned your work in social work. How do you how do you plan to bring that to the table? How do you experience? How do you plan to bring that?
That's a good question. One of the primary characteristics of a social worker is to be able to listen. And so I put out my priorities as a candidate way back when, the push cards I had printed way back when, and I've been talking to thousands of folks, and they've kind of adjusted my priorities a little bit. So listening is a key component. Now I'm going to go up there after I get elected into office. I will have listened to what the constituents have told me, but then I also need to listen to what the staff reports. I also need to listen to what the other city council members are saying, and I also have to be careful that the mayor's not going to veto whatever it is I come up with. Listening is a key component to it, and to that, one of the things that they've said right up front, 55% are saying streets, fix our streets, and the next one they're talking about is taxes. Reconciling those two will be tricky.
What about the site that has been very controversial, downtown arena, sports arena? You think it's the right place to build an arena there?
Well, the ordinance that put the bond on the ballot said 3 projects downtown. 70% of the voters approved it.
No, it wasn't on the ballot.
Now, I interrupted no one.
I did.
The voters approved the ballot. The voters said the bonds and the $473 million quality of life bonds were approved by the voters.
You're wrong, man.
The voters approved it. And that's where it's going, that's where the plan is right now. The question to me is not so much the arena as much as the people that are living there. And I hope that there's nobody here in this room that is standing up to say that they're going to defend the right of all of those tenement dwellers to continue to live in substandard housing.
I will. I will. I'm a resident of Union Plaza and I will.
Nobody asked you, sir.
He just did.
Everybody has mentioned streets in the last $44 million for 3 projects with veto. How would you go about if that proposition was presented in front of you?
I have not seen the proposition in detail. I have read the same newspaper articles that everybody else has read. I agreed with the veto. Again, the voters are telling us the taxes. We approved $218 million in certificates of obligation in 2012. We also agreed $473 million for the bond election and $68 million for the ballpark. That's a lot of taxes. The money still hasn't been spent. We still have a lot of debt, and we still have projects that haven't been completed. So the taxes become very important. The streets are very important. That's where you start working together with the city staff, with the council, with the mayor, and come up with a plan that all of us can live with. Because in the end, it takes at least 4 more city council members to approve something with the understanding that the mayor is not going to veto it. So we have to work in consensus.
In a nutshell, why aren't you best candidate for this position?
Well, I think part of that goes to 31 years in the military. I learned discipline, I learned leadership. 38 years as a social worker, as a CEO. I learned how to make budgets, I learned how to create jobs. As on the board of directors of First Life Federal Credit Union, we're governed an institution that has almost $1 billion in assets, and we represent the members of the credit union. I've been doing these things. Henry Ford says, you build a reputation on what you have done, not what you say you're going to do. And so I built my reputation for the last 62 years of my life on what I have done, on the works that I've done for the community, on the work I've done for individual folks, and with all the various organizations that I've worked with. I'm proud of the work I've done. So do I get a closing?
Yes. Give us a closing statement, please.
Thank you so much. I started working when I was a boy, running errands at a construction site for tips. I've not stopped working yet. I've worked my entire life. I am a hardworking individual. I retired from my job as a CEO so I could be a full-time city representative. This is something that I committed to, and I went in full force with the idea that on day one I will be a full-time city representative. I'm the youngest of 5. I'm that kid from the barrio of San Juan that should not have made it. But for the grace of God, with the guidance of my mother, the 5 of us did make it out of the barrio. And it's part of my intent to help everybody else in El Paso make it out of the barrio. We as a city should not have folks, not there in Duranguito, anywhere else in the city, living in substandard housing. We should be better than that. And I think we'll be judged as a city by how well we treat those folks who can't afford to move out of substandard housing. How do we help them? And it's that same idea that we take across everything else that we do. Thank you very much and good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Barceleau.